There's so many people living their lives in such different ways and all doing it a little different. Some of them are really following a pattern that they see others doing. Some of them are taking strengths from winners, leaving the maybe the weaknesses, but taking the strengths, learning. Some of them are just striking out on their own, doing their own thing. Have them in here to the studio and sit down with them for 2 hours, turn our phones over. I mean, we don't get opportunity to have conversations like that with our own loved ones in our own homes very often because our phones just dominate our lives. I bring them in, have them on the podcast so I can learn about them. Artists, authors, athletes, influencers, podcasters, entrepreneurs, business people, attorneys, historians. And these are all people who are making their way through life in a way that, from where I observe them, they're not just living this regular life where they're a battery plugged into the matrix, where they just went to college, got a job, they take their 2 weeks off a year, they have their 2.5 kids, their white picket fence, they're good to go, they eat from the food pyramid, they watch the mainstream media, and they're good with that. Most of the people I have on, I consider them to be outliers, outside the system. They run their own businesses. They try their own shit. They say controversial things. They challenge the mainstream thought processes that are acceptable. They might say things that are at the moment controversial because right now you could say something right now that in 2-3 weeks you might be canceled for. I mean, it's insanity. You can't have an opinion without hurting someone else's feelings. If you hurt their feelings, they want to cancel. You just look at what's happening on Twitter now. Could you imagine Leach on Twitter 24/7 just talking about it? I mean,
Wait, why'd he get fired? You didn't finish that.
He got fired at Tech. This is a crazy story, bro. So at Tech, he's coaching. He has a player with a concussion. This is a player who had a questionable work ethic. This is a player who had maybe not enough talent to actually get the scholarship he got. Leach gave him a chance, and the kid was arrogant. Adam James, the son of Craig James, SMU great, part of the Pony Express, part of the reason why SMU got the death penalty. His son, Adam James, went to Tech. His son, Adam James, claimed, I can't practice. I have a concussion. Leach told him, go over and stand in that dark shed because when you have a concussion, it makes your eyes very sensitive to light. Adam James claimed that he was being abused, that Coach Leach was doing wrong by him. There's a fuck ton of articles about it. Leach did not bend the knee. Leach said, no, Adam James is lazy. Adam James was saying this and that. I told him to go stand in the dark shed because he had a concussion. If we're not going to practice, then let's get better however we can. And Adam James got Mike Leach fired from Tech, and Mike Leach has a law degree, and I believe I think his last lawsuit against Tech finally got dismissed, but he was suing Tech up until either now or the last few years for what he believed he was owed in terms of back pay because they wrongfully fired him and he was owed what he was owed on his contract. But the administration at Tech took a very woke approach to Leach. It's my opinion of what happened. They didn't. What's that?
What year?
Man, Mike Leach fired by Texas Tech. God dang, I don't know.
Look it up.
Because then he went, while you're looking that up, he got fired from Tech, sued Tech, left college football for a couple years.
2009.
Yeah, 2009. So a while back. He was out of college football for a couple of years until Washington State University came calling. And Bill Moose, the then athletic director at Wazoo, went down. Washington State was on hard times, bro. Had given a couple chances to a couple of guys that were just not cutting it, that were not head coach material. Bill went down to Florida, to the Keys, where Mike was, fishing every day, living on the water. Mike, by the way, as a side note, way into pirates. He wrote a book called Swing Your Sword. I mean, Mike Leach is a fascinating guy.